wait a bit for everyone to come, and then we start. Hello, hello everyone. Okay, in this channel, in here and in YouTube also, we are live stream in the on YouTube as well right now, and yeah, we're gonna start to the first talk. And thank you so much for coming to the Threesound talk. And like today, my name is Pisitakun, and we're gonna start to talk about like our expo. It's called Threesound Expo 2025. It's like the theme is a politic disappointment, and I gonna start to talk about like how this project is becoming, and we're gonna have to talk three of us, like Nischal, and another one is Anne, that she was in the online meeting on Zoom. And then I gonna start to talk about like the Threesound project, which is like gonna happen on 12, 13, and 14 of September. The I gonna start beginning with this project. This project is beginning in 2023. The first time that was I make this project is called Threesound of the Revolution, which is come from like the three finger that was like salute in Myanmar and Thailand, and that was like I also participate in protesting in 2019, and I was like came to Europe in 2021, And then 2023, I got the Pharaoh from the DRD artist residency, and I was like beginning to think about this project, which is like try to talk about like the sound and the revolution. And the idea is come from the three finger, which is have like three part. In the beginning, we have like the index sound. The index sound is like the index finger that was represent like solidarity, and then like the middle sound is represent equality, and the ring sound represent like the liberty, which is like it's come from like the symbolic of the protest at that time. And at that time, it was like I try to think about like what kind of solidarity. For me, it's kind of like I think about like how we can make like the platform, and how to make the people sharing like the platform together, and like how to be like solidarity. And the index sound try to think about like equality. That time I was thinking about like how we can do the sound of like different country that was make it equal. At that time, we gonna talk about more detail in later what happened in this year. But it's kind of like try to bring like the sound from protest or revolution from different country, and showing how we can like make all the protests and like the movement be equality. And for the ring sound, I think about like how like we can bring like the liberty for like the freedom of speech, or like for the scholar, for like the freedom of expression. And that was like I try to expect as like the people from the academy that talk about like how the movement and revolution. And then like for this year, we have another part. It's come with like the market sound, which is like have like try to bring like the collective and the market, and like how we can find a way to like also sustainability of the project as well, and like with everyone. That was like this one like the first structure that we do. And then now I gonna invite Anne to come to talk about like the index sound, because we have like three people that was like different like the curator on each part. For some now like we're gonna talk about the index sound first. And gonna talk about the index sound. Okay. And yeah.
Hello. Are you, how does it work with the slide? Are you sharing it or am I?
I sharing it, and then like
Okay,
you can tell me to change or something.
okay. Um, okay. I don't see when it's up, so I don't know how. Sorry, I'll just try to figure it out.
You can see on the Zoom that was I use this one to share.
No,
You
I
can see
cannot.
on top there.
Mm, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you everyone for joining us today, and thank you, Pisitakun, for the invitation. So, yeah, can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so I'm an independent curator based in Bangkok mainly, but I'm currently in Brussels where I opened a group exhibition last month. And so that explored trends in states and proposes instability as a mode of inquiry. So can we go to the next slide, please? So Threesound is a 3-day gathering, as Pisitakun has explained, of sound and performance and exhibition and public programs. So it will explore not only what is heard, but also what remains, what reverberates and transforms in the aftermath of collective political experience in the case of index sound, which is going to be an art exhibition. So at the heart of this project is the idea of political disappointment that I had been working with for some time, but never named it as such. So the first time was through a publication project that I initiated together with Lara van Meteren and Bart Wissink in 2020 and 2021. And that was during the pro-democracy protests in Thailand in the context of which we selected and translated a series of texts on the relationship between art and politics. The last text in the book that we edited together was Politicizing Sadness by Colectivo Situaciones, in which the Argentinian collective, in the context of the early 2000s, encouraged us to go beyond the dichotomy of victory and defeat, to keep creating new public spaces where we can keep raising questions and exchanging that must not require the exceptional circumstances of protests, and to keep re-elaborating the collective as a level of production, political production. Then a bit later in 2023, I co-curated an exhibition in Turin together with Christy O'Byrne and Catherine Hamilton, which looked at what happens in moments between protests in the valleys of political time, especially in relation to the body. And that exhibition also explored stillness as a mode of resistance. But today, Threesound Expo really emerges at a moment when disappointment saturates both our political and artistic landscapes. It's a very difficult space, especially currently in Berlin, but it is where we have to begin, because we live in a moment where political disappointment is being aggressively co-opted in Europe, as in many parts of the world. Far-right movements have weaponized disillusionment to fuel reactionary agendas, turning grief into resentment and a call for exclusion. So this project challenges that and refuses that kind of appropriation. In this sense, disappointment is a terrain that needs to be occupied, and it can become a place from which progressive movements can speak, reflect, and imagine again. And here, disappointment becomes a form of attention, a mode of listening, a mode of staying with. So for Index Sound, I've invited 4 artists. I think we can go to the next slide. So I've invited 4 artists, which I will present in a bit, to individually reflect on the question of how does the aftermath sound like? Can we go to the next slide, please? So protest is loud, it cries out, and every movement carries its oral signature. So there's chants, songs, noise, rupture. But far from simply accompanying political action, these sounds amplify it, making resistance audible. They're extensions of our political bodies and the ways in which we occupy space. Can we go to the next slide? So the aftermath of protests ushers in a different acoustic terrain. A disorienting quiet settles once the crowds thin, chants fade, and voices dissipate. We begin to feel as though we've been abandoned by sound. Next slide, please. This is the moment into which the exhibition enters, reflecting on the rift between what was imagined and what remains possible. So Better Left Unsaid invites artists to consider what the aftermath sounds like, politically, emotionally, and relationally. What persists in the silence, what reverberates when the world feels like it remains materially unchanged. Next slide, please. The title, Better Left Unsaid, reflects the nihilistic time we inhabit, the sense that nothing can be said or done that will change anything. It gestures towards the fatigue of speaking, the exhaustion of a collective voice, the collapse of meaning in the face of repetition and repression, but it also calls that impulse into question. Next slide, please. What if what is unsaid is not silence, but precisely what cuts through the din of chatter and distraction, a dissonant presence that resists reduction into neat discourse, a rehearsal for listening anew? Yeah, next slide, please. So the 4 artists are Enrico Boccialetti, Montika Kamon, Merv Espina, and Leonium Gan. So in the context of the exhibition, I've invited the 4 artists to individually reflect on the question, how does the aftermath sound like? So these 4 artists come from different backgrounds. So some are sound artists, some are visual artists or filmmakers, but all share an interest in sound, in the collective, or in bearing vulnerabilities and imagining otherwises. And each of them will be producing a newly commissioned work. And yeah, I can briefly introduce them. Next slide, please. So Enrico Boccialetti is an artist whose practice points at the contradictions of existing as a body mediated by algorithm and the consequences of technology. So for this edition, he will be presenting a durational performance that also plays with presence and withdrawal and opacity. Next slide, please. Merv Espina, so is an artist and curator and involved in great number of collective projects, including platforms, performances, kitchens, festivals, and soundscapes. So he will be working with local archives and exploring how sound can also haunt and hold space long after the initial event is gone. Next slide, please. Montika come on is a visual artist and filmmaker based in Berlin and Bangkok. And here she will focus on bodily vibration as a residual language of protest and how the body remembers the access and the vibration as a kind of muscle memory. And next slide, please. And Leonie Omkan is a sound artist and musician based in Bangkok and Brussels. So here she will present sound-absorbing sculptures as well as share her ongoing research into music notations. So the four artists don't necessarily offer answers, but they offer encounters that move at different tempos and disturb clarity, that require listening not for affirmation, but for tension and contradiction and residue. So in a world that's saturated with spectacle or saturation, the exhibition Index Sound embraces what is lost or fractured, but also forms of resilience and imagination, and imagines what kind of solidarity can be built by listening to what has been suppressed or dispersed or forgotten. The title again reflects the fatigue of a collective voice, but it also brings forth the question that what if what is unsaid is not absence, but what cuts through the noise, and what if it can be a rehearsal for listening anew. So this is the real work of the show, to hold space, not necessarily as a unified mass, but also holding space as while being fragile or fractured, and keep doing the work of that ongoing process of appearing, listening, and being with. So it's not necessarily seeking a return to certainty or trying to revive old slogans or reanimate past movements, but it's sitting in the aftermath. It's listening, attuned to the vibrations, the textures, and the discomforts. But still, it's profoundly using disappointment as a profoundly generative space. So thank you.
Thank you. And like, if you have a question, we can like do it in the after three of us present, and we have the question. Okay, the next one is gonna be me. Thanks. Okay. Next one is like the middle sound, because like before that I was talk about like the three part that was like for this year. We have like for the index sound, we consider like the platform as like the exhibition. That's why we put like the exhibition there. And then like for the middle sound, both yeah. Yeah. For the middle sound, I was like from the last year I was invite like the artists from 20 country, and then limit the revolution song, and then like and then make them play in the club, because when I talk about like equality, I was when I moved to here, I imagine about like how like the club scene that like bring this kind of like the new narrative of like people that is can be dancing together, be equality in the music scene. And that was like I was imagine about this stuff. And then like I did the the last year we do like the comparison that like with the this one is 16 artists now. I can show you the website, you can check it on there. Shoop. You can go to the website, and then like you can like a different country, and you can like see like this one is from China, and then you can go to see, and then you can download the song from there. This one is from the Indian. can also listening, and then you can download. And they have like the concept and the song. And this, I can show you the website first. This one, it also have the lyrics of the Revolution song, like from Bahasa and English as well. And you can play. I can show you one song. Okay, just this one. It's gonna be too loud. Yeah, and I invite like 16 artists for participate from the last year, and then and then we do like collaborate with the CTM last year, 2024, and I invite like some artists from the remix part, and like invite like two DJ for they do like mixing like all the song together and play in the Swoosh Berkhan last year, and like we organize the whole cup nights in Swoosh, and you can also see later in the website of CTM in 2024. And then for this year, that was like I also repeating like the same method, because like I try to think about like how to collect like all the revolution song from around the world. This is my main idea for like to find like which kind of part that like they have the different because like when you listening the revolution song, somehow it's like have some kind of similarity. Like if you look at in the website, you can see like if you read all the lyrics, they have this kind of like something like really similarity, and I feel this kind of part that like make its equality. And for this year, I was also invite like 18 artists to remix the revolution song. And then like we also gonna do the 3-day festival, which is like it's gonna be like the artist that was part of the remix and the DJ in the club nights as well. Like this one, we gonna start to promote soon on the July on
curating the Ring Sound program for Threesound Expo 2025. My name is Nischal. So I'm an artist curator and a cultural organizer, DJ from Nepal, now based in Berlin. I run a small foundation called Trans-Himalaya Foundation, a very new, young foundation. Also produce some work for Kathmandu Triennale, mostly the exhibition, curated few program. And now I'm a student at Vicense, studying spatial strategies. Pisitakun invited me to curate a Ring Sound program, which is Liberty, and initially I didn't had any clue about what the project was, because last time I participated the Threesound of Revolution in Berghain, and then also they were doing karaoke together, and I just sang randomly, you know. So I was like really motivated after that. Okay, now I understand the project, and so this is our program, the Ring Sound. The next slide. So the Ring Sound Liberty program will bring together artists, musicians, scholars, researchers to explore the rise of mostly the fascist ideologies through experimental sound curriculum, lectures, performances, listening sessions, discussions, and radio intervention. It blends like different approaches like feminist anti-fascism, community activism, and music study to emphasize the power of sound as a tool for political action. It also highlights various forms of resistance, focusing on collaboration, endurance, and solidarity as a strategy to challenge the authoritarian ideologies, inviting participant and audience to engage in the creation of a collective sound piece, which we will do through the workshops, using various rhythm and sonic experimentation as a political resistance. So this will be a collaborative process to foster the creativity and to strengthen the community. Next slide. So I have divided the program into a workshop, lecture performances, panel discussion, and the listening session. For the workshop, we will be inviting an artist who will also the participant, and then we will try to do a collective, try to build a collective a sonic piece through using various software and the techniques. And the lecture performance will feature the artists, academics, and the scholars who will examine how the sound has historically been used as a tool for resistance, offering both practical and theoretical insights. The panel discussion will allow artists and musicians to share personal experiences, the story behind the songs they bring to the Threesound Expo, offering deeper insights into how music can function as a powerful tool for social and political change. The listening session invite participants to explore the practice of listening through the various artists, musicians, poets, writers, educators, athletes, meditators, activists, etc. Next slide. So yes, and then radio intervention we have, like we are also inviting various artists, curators as a conversation talk, and we will also have a live radio session from the refuge worldwide. Next slide. So here are the some of the programs for the Threesound Expo 2025. The first program, the first artist is Illich. Illich is also my professor at Vicence of sound studies. So Illich will be presenting the listening hymn. It is a performative spoken word archive that invites you to explore the practice of listening through voice of artist, musician, poets, writer, educator, athletics, meditators, activists. Listening hymn celebrates the world of listening through sonic and somatic practices, culture and politics, anti-fascism, critical practice theory, spirituality, intersectional feminism, and community building, and among other disciplines. The archive is shared through radio shows, university lectures, sound mediations, listening session, exhibitions, musical performance under many names of the artist. So basically, Illich will be doing. He doesn't want to call it a lecture performance, but he want to call it like a performative intervention. So using modular synthesis, tuning the space, also tuning the audience with various sound, text, images, videos, etc. Next. Is a multi-instrumentalist, a musician, sound artist, producer, DJ. He wants to call himself as a reincarnated in Kherson, Ukraine. So the idea behind inviting Illich is also to highlight the recent conflict that is happening between Russia and Ukraine. So maybe I thought it will make some justice to invite some artists from Ukraine. Next. And we have another program, Sound as a Resistance, a resonance of police woman strike with Hannah. So Hannah will be bringing the police, the sound of revolution from different protest movements in Poland. So here is what she's bringing for our Threesound Expo. Next. She's a curator, artist, researcher working with sound and words. Her practice is centered on the relationship of art with social movement, listening, and sonic fiction. She works in a collective, participatory, and public settings, which comes out of her engagement with queer, feminist, migrant, anti-capitalist movements. She is currently working on a project that explores sonic agency in a feminist protest and Eastern European sonic fiction through queer feminism and ecology. Next. And also we have another a session. I think it will be more of a listening session. The earlier one with Hannah will be a performative. Along with the video will be a really aggressive sometime is a sound of protest, so it doesn't have any a soothing background, so it can be very aggressive sometimes. So but this one is a like a listening session that also with a voice. Anna is inviting her friend Engizeska, who will be improvising with the voice, and then they have they will perform it with a field recording from a forest between Poland and Belarus border. So it will be a more meditative kind of listening session. I want to call it. Next. So Angiziska Bulakik is a researcher, artist, facilitator whose work spans voice, sound, performance, and image. Her practice is grounded in a transdisciplinary and intersectional approaches, examining human relationship through queer, feminist, and decolonial perspective. Through her work, she explores and challenges the complex dynamics of how we relate to one another. Next. And we have a workshop from Ruli Sabara. Ruli developed this program. Is a really easy to use program for everyone. You don't have to have any knowledge to use this program. It's a web-based digital application where we invite participants to bring their personal statement relating to our topic of resistance. Our like the participants are invited to bring like a personal statement, word, voice, or sound that speak to the themes, and then we are using experiment this statement or like anything with this machine called Sarabot voice machines, and then we will see the result. And I think it's gonna be a collective process of sound making. Later we gonna release this through a radio or maybe in Bandcamp. Ruli is an artist born in Indonesia. He has been exploring various methodologies using the voice. Also, a vocalist for Indonesian avant-garde duo Senyawa, creator of language-driven culture belief system Kawa Gakha. Zarabot is a digitally oriented software, and many more. He has collaborated with many artists like Stephen O'Malley, Hildur, Ravi Aviani, and he's really popular in Berlin experimental music community, I would say. Next. And we have another program. It's called Refuge Worldwide X Threesound Expo 2025, and we invited our friend Morgan Solly. So Morgan Solly will be curating. What happened? Okay. Sorry. So we have a program at Refuge Worldwide. We will start a little bit early from June until the September. So and Morgan will be hosting the talk conversations and discussions, that also artist interview. Yeah, and we are very happy to have Refuge Worldwide as a partner for Threesound Expo. Next. So the talk and conversation somehow for our radio program. The first talk will be about a political disappointment, how we our sound, protest and politics with Pisitakun, Ariane, and me, with Morgan, and then we will gonna explore a little bit about the depth of our curatorial ideas and how we come together for this project. And the second conversation will be the sonic sovereignty, cross media tools and technology for navigating sonic landscape. It will be artist talk between the three artists from different section, from index sound, middle sound, and ring sound. So we invite Merv, Lin Nandarhoto and Uli Sabera, also with Morgan Soli. So we will try to learn a little bit about the sonic we will like try to understand how the sound is in Southeast Asia and how they cross their path, how how they perceive sound in different countries, and we try to find common ground in between these different geographies. Next. So Morgan is our friend, is an artist, musician, organizer with Indonesian roots. He's also a part of Soy Division Collective. He curates Soy Synth, also runs LKW label, and many more. Actually, Morgan is really involved in Berlin, very rooted in a Berlin experimental and music scene. And we have a panel discussion that I'll be moderating, but still I'm not sure. We already have so many topics, but because I think I gonna come up with a really interesting idea for the panel discussion, and still the lineup is still to be decided, because I'm looking for everyone work and how it gonna come together, and then who will be physically there, and and then I gonna start talking with the artist, and if the feasible for everyone on that day for a panel discussion, then we're gonna release this very soon. Next. Yeah, thank you. uh, if you have any questions, then they can always ask me. Thank you. Yeah.
We can you can repeat the question because we don't have any microphone.
Okay. Yeah.
You mentioned athletes and their voices.
Uh-huh.
So specific about their voices, their way of producing athletes.
Sorry?
Athletes.
Like the athletes, and then how they are, if they produce sound, or what do you mean?
Specific about their way of producing sound.
I mean, sometimes. Okay, the question is how the athlete's way of producing sound. What's so specific about? I think it's. I feel like when we talk about equity. Equity is for everybody, for artists, for also athletes, for also poet. So there is. I don't see any difference between athlete and the artist. So we also try to cover the voice of athletes, or sometimes they. I really I'm really against like this, the pride of national team or something, so it creates a pride and it creates a illusion, but sometimes the athletes, the sports persons, they are representing something of their own community, so including their voices during the performances, during the performances of elites, maybe try to incorporate their voices, what they how their movement is trying to break this kind of narrative of really like far right narrative. Sometimes we forget to incorporate these people. We always think about artists and music, and so I think that's my point to mention the athlete in yeah. I hope I answered it. Any more question? Maybe to PC to and Asuma.
I have a question, but I haven't really formulated. But I'm interested in these.
Maybe can you come?
Okay, I'm going to say. So, I'm just thinking aloud as I say this, but I'm thinking about these different sites you're all thinking about. One is the street, where these protests happen, let's say, and as a kind of, the aftermath of the protests when everything disappears and everyone is crying in their tear gas and whatever. And then you evoke the club as a kind of almost as a kind of safer space, or at least a kind of space of possibility as something else. And then there is this kind of discursive space of the exhibition and the exhibition program to sort of reflect on these kind of actions. So I just wonder if you could maybe talk a little bit more about how they link through, right?
I can talk about this because like for me I think like from my experience that was like I was on the street all the time in 2 years. That was like I organized all the protests on the street with the with with all my friend because I am the founder of like the organization is called Free Art. That was like we organized like the protest with like student and like different group like because in 2019 in Thailand we have like big protests. We protest every day. 2019, 2021, I think. And I think it's like how I organize is really tired, and it's really so many stuff is really make you really feel how I say like because like when you go to real protest, you have like so many stuff you have to think about like the police and so on. But when I moved here, I was thinking like how I can do something like minimalist, like to do something that like can keep something going on with in and show people to a bit by a bit to understand, because like when we talk about the protest and movement, it's always like crack, like always something that like black and white. And I think sometimes when it's like going really maximum, I feel it's like people is fell down really easily. Like when you attack with like authority, like the police, the army, something, you you can see like everything is really sad and like and really because like we are not prepared for it. We just like use our how to say like our feeling that like, oh, I want to have this in today or tomorrow. It's like many protests is like that. But when I came here, because I'm also asylum in the way, I try to like think about like how we can like make this kind of like to we can like collaborate, we can be participate together, we can learn a bit by bit together. And I think it's like it's not only one country or like one topic. For me, I feel like I really want to make this expo or festival like to find like many topic in the same time, and we can be like understand each other more and can be like support each other. Because like if the topic is just only Thailand or Myanmar or some country that have protests, I think from my experience, I feel like it's gonna when it fell down, it's gonna be really empty. You're gonna be really depressed. And I think like for me, it's like how I can do like keep this kind of energy going on. That's why I try to make something is more fun and more relaxed, and we can talk something more easily with the expo and festival. That's why I try to like bring like the music and sound, because I think somehow what I like in the protest, I feel like the enjoyment when the people start to be dance together, when the people start to shouting together, when the people can like know the new people. And I think this kind of stuff is like is exist in the club scene, or like the idea of like the festival, that you feel like you shouting together, you learn the new music, something like that. But for me, it's like how the how the dancing and shouting is not enough for me, because like sometimes you can be like also realize something that like, hey, we dance for something when we understand for we survive together, we know the new problem together, something like that. I feel like that's why I try to mix this thing together, to not be extreme and to not be like what I call like innocent or like don't care anything, you know. I try to bring the topic into this. That's why like I try to make like I try to invite the different uh, curator, which is like really different thinking. Yeah, I think it's like for Anne also. It's really she was the lighter and she was curator, and like how she processed like the exhibition was really totally different from my one. My one is more like just go to the talk about protest something, but like Anne is curate as like way really concrete way, and Nischal also how he working is really different. That's why we have this curate. Yeah, diversity.
Can
Yeah.
I can I add something about the space of the club and the space of the street? There's like earlier I mentioned this text by Colectivos Situaciones, and in there there's actually a really nice analogy that they make between the protest and the fiesta. So the protest is a kind of they call it a fiesta of languages, images, and movements. And then when the protest stops, when sort of like we go back to normal, like quote unquote normal circumstances, it's the end of the fiesta. But who there's a question of who actually decides, you know, when the protest has ended. Is it the authorities? Is it the people, the movement? How is that decided? And in some ways, I think this kind of initiative and it's also a way of reviving this collective meeting of minds and bodies, and yeah, in a way of reviving this idea of also the fiesta, not only in the club but also in our minds, and yeah.
Anyone have any question? More question, please.
All the time. So for me, disappointment is something very hard. That space is not a space where I would like to spend much time. And then my question is, where do you look from that space in order to motivate yourself to find some power, strength to move forward? Where? How? What helps in disappointment? Ooh.
Someone want to talk about this? Maybe I talk first. uh, because like when it's like the beginning of this expo, when I was talk with like Anne, like because like I was doing the Threesound Revolution in 2024, and I start to think about we should do the new one, and because at the time it's like so many stuff is really weird, like the election, the what happened with the protest that like get attacked by the police and in German, or like the election in some city of German got like more right wing, something like that, and and like I mean like at that time 2024 is everything is look like really slightly go to the right wing, and really really big feeling for me is like is something wrong, you know. And I think it's like and for me I was I think like we are me from Thailand, from Myanmar, from Nepal, from another country. We know this feeling. We really know like how was you feel when like when you cannot control anything, when you feel like you have your own thought to believe something, and you think that people gonna believe the same with you, but actually it's opposite. And for me it's like I talk with Anne that like, oh, what is this come from? Why is like we changing a lot without like without we never know like why it changed like this. And then like I talk with Anne, and then we talk about something is really weird. I'm not sure this is real or not, but for me it's like when you expect something really high, like you expect when you go to protest, when you go something, and like you have this kind of like maximum that you put your all your opacity capacity of yourself to be there, and then it's not success, and yourself start to be really like go down, and you start to not believe anything, and you start to not connect with the people, you start to not talk about the politics, and you start to you start to not believe in the politics anymore. And I feel like this kind of moment is also the same in Thailand, in many Myanmar also. I think in this kind of like when you are like put yourself too much and then you fell down. And I think this kind of stuff is answer like this look like politic disappointment, that you feel like you start to disappointment with the politics, but you don't know how to find a way to go out from it. That's why it's like we try to start from this point, that like how we can start to building up this kind of idea and to share the knowledge and like to listening more from like what is your disappointment in the politics, and we can start a bit by a bit to understand each other. Somehow I feel like when I was doing the activist, many people learn me to like, hey, you need to, if you will be activist, you need to get more people, not less people. You know, like not like you need to include more people, not exclude. You know, we need to get more people. But what I see now I feel like it's kind of opposite side. People start to be really small group and like try to be fight each other, fight more individual. And for me, I think this one like why we talk about like politic disappointment, because it's like, but in the end you start to be disappointment and then you start to exclude everyone. You yeah that and one of the lecture performance, I was met her, Hannah. It's really interesting because like she talked about like the protest in Poland, about the feminist protest, and this kind of moment that also like is fell down. But she also researched about like what is what 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 we got from the fail down. What is like it have something that like as Anne said, that like who decide that it's fail down or stop or protest is stop. It's actually we have to change thinking a bit, that like we should like still keeping this kind of like atmosphere of like talk about the politic more, and like exchange more with the people. That's why I think like the politics disappointment is not like for you to disappoint, but how we can deal with this kind of disappointment. Yeah. You can if you want to talk something, and
Yeah, I think it's also about how to like the idea of surpassing, like constantly having to surpass, to go forward, forward, forward is also can also be very draining and very tiring. And I also think that it's, for me, it's really a space that needs to be occupied, because we're seeing how like like disappointment has been what's also like what's been fueling so many people in the far right, and and we cannot also, and I mean people from progressive movements are also grieving, they're grieving other things, and we cannot let this kind of feeling be appropriated only by one side. But then here it's also becoming an opportunity to sort of like, yeah, slow down and reflect on the limits of past movements and reconsider how we want to build futures together. So it's yeah, I really see it as a space. And yeah, I also agree with everything that Pisitakun said. Mm.
I just want to draw the, I don't know, maybe I cannot really talk in a very broader perspective, because I can only share my experience from my perspective, because why I am disappointed, or why you are disappointed, or why we are talking about political disappointment is what I experience in my country. And then we have a democracy, and then now people are protesting to bring back the monarchy. And then it really disappoints me, and the people we see, the people, our friend of friend, they are joining the protest without knowing nothing. they fight for the whole maybe 10 years to establish the multi-party democracy, and then our friend who are very close to me, our family members, they are also going to the protest to bring back the monarchy, which means like really nothing for they don't really understand. And in our situation, in our community, many people really do not understand the political system, mostly in the art scene, like that's why the art scene is not really interesting in Nepal, like because they don't really have this capacity to understand what is happening inside our community, or what is happening in our neighborhood in Myanmar or in Bangladesh. So if you develop like this kind of understanding to know the situation, and I think your art will be more impactful, and then you can create more impact through your artworks, create more community, strengthen the community, and also sometimes it about the indigenous movement, or the native people who are fighting for their lands, and if we don't understand these processes, then it will remain untouched for forever. So I think we are here to share our thoughts on these different processes, and how we intervene is just a very small effort, just to bring people that we know from elsewhere to make this event happen. I hope.
Sorry. It's a bit of a skeptical question, but also, do you think there will ever be any real form of revolution to bring down imperialism all over the world? Or are we always going to have this proxy community resistances that, let's say, resolve one aspect of the imperialism, but then brings another form of imperialism in other ways? And I think that's, for me, is like the biggest political disappointment, because you have these protests and then something resolves, but it gets taken over by some other form of imperialism. So yeah, I wonder if, like, what do you think, that what is like the how much resistance, or in which way the resistance could be to really dismantle very nuanced political structures?
And you want to talk a bit
Yeah,
about
it's
it?
a really tough one. It's a really, really tough one. Yeah, I don't have an answer like as to how we can do that, but I also think that even though it's difficult, there is value in sort of staying with the discomfort and trying to see, like, I don't know, like trying to find clarity and trying to like unpick, because all like what you're describing is a system so entangled that when you're protesting one thing, you bring about another thing, and it's never ending. So I do see value in those moments, yeah, between protests, after protests, etc., in which we can sort of fine tune our attention and our vision, and in trying to like map out those entanglements more, and therefore maybe rehearse. I can only offer very partial, very fragmented sort of attempts or propositions. To this huge question.
Yeah, I think so. It's a huge question, but I just like try to. I for me, I think it's like I just try to talk about with from my experience in but I'm not sure it's like relating, but I feel like it's relating for me. For example, like in I was research about like the protest in Thailand, and like the sound of protest in Thailand since like in the 60s, in like before Second World War, after Second World War, and how this kind of stuff is changing. And I feel like because you know now we have in Thai we have like we still have the monarchy, but like how this kind of like protest is changing, like the idea of protests from the 60s until now is changing a lot. And even like the protests that they really how to say avant-garde or something really way like you can feel like they are at that time they are the best of the best people that talk really sharp. But compared to now, he is the one that's really fucking conservative and like say something bullshit about the protest and even laughing when the protest got killed. Like you know, it's like it's the and but for me it's like this kind of thing is like it's changing. The protest is not, it's not only the politics itself, but it's also with the your daily life, with your economy, something like that. Like you, if you imagine about if I talk like this one, like the politic disappointment, something in European 10 years ago, people gonna be laughing at me like, oh, why you still talk about the politic? Because it's like the time is when the time is changing, the problem is becoming bigger, and we have to follow the problem. I think it's like when like different time, different protests. It's like I remember when I come to Europe 2014, I see like how to say like 1 hour protest many times. Like kind of like go to square and then like 20 people go there and then try to protest something and another square. But but people still like okay just protest, but it's not meaning anything. For sure it's meaning because they start to like a small group something, but it's not really affect anything. But now I feel like every protest is start to be like realize what is like the problem. And I think like every protest have to develop themselves, and every topic of like I think I feel like every time, every year we have to be talking about this more and more. And if we don't have like the final answer, but I think it's for me it's live my life, and we need to live our life as like available for this kind of the new topic, and have to learn more stuff. It's open to learn more and to understand what is like going on now. And because like the problem of the people that like they are really avant-garde in the city, because when it's now they just start to close them eye and then to not listening the new topic, the new idea, the new generation talking. This was like the real problem of like protest. That's why like many of old protest is got left, because I got to go to the right wing, because they know how they have a safe space now, something like that. You know, it's like for me, it's like all of this stuff is we need to learn more. The new generation learn more with the young people, learn more with everyone. It's not like for me, I feel like we are still stupid, and because like because every hour we have a new stuff coming all the time. Like for example, like if you talk about like the news in the state for tomorrow, it's gonna change everything. In the Ukraine war also gonna change everything. In the Palestine also gonna change everything. Every day it's changing. Every day is you need to learn. And I think how we can think about this kind of stuff is we need to learn every day, and like to understand more. But but you need to understand as like we need to understand as our capacity also, to not like make you to go down, you know. We need to still have energy to talk about it, I think. And like talk with more people and include more people. That what I think. I don't have the answer for that, but I feel believe that every time it's getting a bit better maybe. Have to come here.
I don't know if it's actually questions, but thank you so much for the presentation. I just sort of like also reflecting while you all talking, because I'm thinking like sometimes like maybe the infrastructure of war is actually started from our safer space, you know. Probably it started for the family, probably it started also with a space that we try to create it and to imagine as a safe space, but then it can be sort of like toxic at the end. This is also probably, I don't know if this is actually a question, it's just like my feeling, because I think my practice also like try to make a safe space, but at the end it can be really goes in the wrong way. So this is more like a reflection point. And the questions for you, PC, because I'm so amazed about the aesthetic of what you're doing in this Threesounds, which it's really close, especially if you're doing these things in this city where the the euphoric dance floor vibe, you know, it's a how do you call it? Yeah, it's very euphoria, right? And also like the aesthetic of the sound that you created. Also, I understand where you're coming from, but also I think there's a thing about the city. I felt the hedonistic part of the city is really strong. Could be really in a good way, but also lately it's become a really confusing way. I thought when I come to Berlin, it's also sort of like liberate me, because like people who going to electronic music event doesn't have to wear high heels, but then they're all wear in black. For me, it's like it was really cool. Up until like a couple of years ago, the H&M make all black Berghain looks, and it's weird, right? And especially about a couple of months ago, those people who call them lefties and organize the solidarity leftist parties sort of supporting genocide. This is also really confusing time, but then it's really interesting that you also capturing this one of the stereotype about the city, and how you try to also mobilize this energy, because the things about protest, I think it's about people mobilization and this kind of energy and stuff. Yeah, maybe you want to tell us stories about this, because for me, I was there doing karaoke with you at the Berghain floor a few years ago. I'm just wondering the impact afterwards, because at that night I was really confused but happy at the same time. Thank you.
Hello. Because I back to like the middle south idea. That was like I try to invite artists to remix the revolution song. It's like the reason of that is come from like, because in Thai also, in every country, I think the revolution song from the 60s or something become like nationalist song. Like become the right wing is like thinking this kind of stuff, and this kind of stuff that like I feel that like it's not for you at this moment. This song, it should be for us at this moment. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like sometimes the people that make this song in the 60s, that was like very avant-garde, really talk about like fighting, blah blah blah, and now they go to be like conservative and so on. The conservative is not wrong, but like you laughing with like when the people got killed, something is this one is too much, and that's why I try to invite the artists to remix the old song, because it's like for me the how to say like the idea of like reconstruct is like, and then like steal the ownership of the song to become like what is the song right now, what is like the new artist making this song to buy them own self, and what the idea why this artist select the song. You know what I mean? It's like it's kind of like if the ownership is like still in the artist that in the 60s, you know, but now it's like the time is part, and the new artists have the right to say about changing the song by their own selves. And I think it's really for me it's really interesting, because like the the song is still revolutionary, but how the people use it is like can be like to the conservative or to be the progressive more. And that's why I think like how the music that remix is make a lot of sense of the. I can show you one song from the new remix for the. I really like this one from Bella. It's from Korea. I can show this song for you, listening a bit.
빨간 꽃 노란 꽃 꽃밭 가득 피어도 하얀 나비꽃 나비 담장 위에 날아도 가스가 봄바람이 불고 또 불어도 이 시은 잘도 눈에 돌아가네 둥구름 숨구름 탐스러운 애기 고름 짧은 샤스 짧은 치마 뜨거운 여름 소금땀 피지땀 흐르고 또 흘러도 이 시은 잘도 눈에 돌아가네 찬바람 소슬바람 산 넘어 부는 바람 간밤에 편지 한 장 접어 실어 보내고 낙엽은 떨어지고 쌓이고 또 쌓여도 이 시는 잘도 눈에 돌아가네 흰눈이 온 세상에 소복소복 쌓이면 하얀 공장 하얀 불빛에 하얀 얼굴들 우리네 청춘이 저물고 저물고 이 시는
It's like that this kind of stuff that I try to show that like I feel when we talk about like the remix or like reconstruction, I feel this one is really our tool to like to steal like the meaning from like the old generation to be our generation to like to the new people that like that not that's still in the lyrics and the song is still really good, but like somehow when you use in your way it's really more powerful. That's why I think about like the remix is interesting. And for the club scene here, for me I think it's the same thing that like now like the new generation start to talk about like the safe space, like how to say the equality, about like safe space for the woman, safe space for like non-binary, and I think it's like the club scene also changing a lot, and I think it's like many people aware more about like you cannot what they call the consent and so on. I think it's like when this kind of like the old culture becoming changing from for example like Burkhan, they don't have this thing like, but another club that is more aware, and the new organization is they aware more of this like safe space and so on. And I feel it's really, for me it's really interesting to see like how the develop and how you use something like to reconstruct it to be like your own way of thinking, is how you want to party, which people you want to party with. But this also have something tricky that like we need to also see how we can like collaborate together as well. It's not only like separate the society, because for me I a bit like in 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 my feeling in the club scene in Berlin is like it's a bit like really everyone is separate, you know. Everyone have their own group, but they not connect. This one is like my thought that we should like a bit connect together. And I think now we are really late now. It's like 8 p.m. already. Okay, I think do you have a last question? Someone okay.
Thank you. It was a very good presentation. I just want to bring the conversation back to the disappointment and the safe space that you were just talking about now. Like, how do you think, as a public space that you have created here, like where people can come, share their disappointment, have this public space to speak about their disappointment? Like, how do you think, like, maybe you three different person coming from different background, like before going to the streets to protest or share your voice, how do you think, like, if there is a public space to talk about your ideas before going to the streets? Like, you know, like maybe it's a art thing or a bar, you go to a park, like different public spaces where you can just go and share your ideas and just be safe about it. Like, how do you think in different context in different countries, as you come from different country, how is it? Like,
I think the public space we're creating is the festival, 12, 13, and 14 September, where we talk all of our idea through performances, installations, exhibition, interventions. So I think that is the space that we are creating to discuss our disappointments.
I I also think I think it's like we need to understand that we are the privilege that to for me it's really for me I think this a lot about like when I moved to European. I think it's like we are the privilege that can talk about a lot of stuff. If I talk something like this in Thai or in some country, you go to the jail. And I think this one we need to realize. And for sure, in here also have like something that you cannot say and you cannot talk. It's totally the same stuff. Like yeah, that's why. But we still have some way how to talk with this. And I think it's like to get more people to support. I think this is for me is an important thing that we need to talk more and talk with like the limit of us like that we can talk. It's like let me say back to Thailand in 2000 after 2010 we have like military crackdown that like protests got killed something like that, and people start to bring this topic of the monarchy and so on. At that time, if you talk about something about the monarchy, everyone will kill you. Like they gonna smash you on the street, fighting you, put you to the jail, something like that. At that time, we do this a lot, and then like really like you cannot say anything. But 10 years later, like we have the people that start to talk about like the monarchy and so on, and fighting on the street and to say this stuff. And because like how we do that, because it's like the time is changing and people still keep talking about it. We have small like what they call discussion, small group, and then like we become like more and more. And I think it's like this one is every process of like a protest is coming from this, and like small topic, and we talk about this. And I think it's like before, I think I know some friend that really hate me, something, not talk with me, and I got like try to find me in the museum, something like that. 10 years later, they say, "Oh, thank you so much." Da 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 da. It's like you can see this, but you have to accept it. You have to understand that people can change, and we need to open more than what we are now. If this guy is still really bad now, in 10 years maybe they get better, and we need to open for it. It's like for me, it's like that how the protest work, or like how the movement work, or you know. But I think it's like we need to really concern about this thing. We need to educate them a bit by bit. If you not talk, we can talk later, something like that. But don't close ourselves to, oh, okay, now you not believe like me, or let's go. No, we need to. That's why I think like when this Threesound expo is like we want to open this like 3 day for like people can talk more about this, and like at least when we use like poetic disappointment, I a bit like, oh, it's really big word, but I think it's good to like at least you go there and then you talk about that. Yeah. You want to say something, Anne?
I think you've wrapped it up.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. We're gonna have in 5 minutes we do another presentation. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Anne. See you. Okay. In 5 minutes.